Hello, my name is Elsa Rodriguez, and the person that I have chosen for my project is Oliver Cromwell. As you can see, the question in the title asks Hero of the People or Murder of the King. Hopefully, towards the end of this presentation, you will be able to base your opinion as to which he was, as I will also let my own opinion be known. Now, before we get to the main event, to get to know Oliver Cromwell a little better, we must start at the beginning. Oliver was born on April 25th, 1658, in a place called Huntingdon, United Kingdom. He was the only son and had 5 sisters. His family was wealthy and influential, but that all started to disappear due to his father's bad drinking habits. Years later, he went to attend Cambridge University, but unfortunately was unable to complete his studies because his father passed away, which meant that he had to return home and run his family's estate. He was also happily married to a woman named Elizabeth, and they had 9 children. So far so good, right? Oliver seems just like any regular man. But something in him changes, and it all starts when he converts from Protestantism to Puritanism, which is very important and affects things later on. Puritanism was a more conservative form of Protestantism that took issue with the Protestant Church of England, because Puritans believed that the Church of England still possessed Catholic aspects which they wanted to completely eliminate. Parliament was an assembly of local representatives brought together by the king that served as an advisory board and provided him with support. At this point in his life, Oliver is Huntingdon's MP. But here's where things start to get ugly, where the whole turmoil begins between Parliament and King Charles I. When you think of the king, for most people they would think of someone that is kind, loyal, and definitely not selfish. King Charles I was the complete opposite. He didn't like that Parliament would question his authority over issues that he wanted to enforce. So Charles, being the big baby that he was, decided that he wanted to rule without Parliament, which was known as the 11 Years' Tyranny. Finally, enough was enough, and later Parliament was like, hey, I'm going to build a king because he's being unreasonable. And funny enough, it was Oliver Cromwell's vote that helped it pass. Feeling betrayed by the very people that used to be his own advisors, King Charles declared war on Parliament. And this event is pretty much what started it all. Oliver didn't like that King Charles I was taking advantage of his power and wanted to put a stop to it. But things don't always turn out the way we want them to. So now that we've gotten through the background information, let's get to the interesting part. Mid-17th century England was marked by 2 civil wars resulting in a shift of power from the monarchy to the Lord Protector Oliver Cromwell. Initially a member of Parliament, Cromwell led its army to victory against King Charles I. After executing Charles I, Cromwell took over by assuming the role of Lord Protector. He became that which he originally struggled against, a ruler with absolute authority. At this point, people weren't exactly sure how to react because Oliver Cromwell did something that people to this day will never forget, besides many other things, but the fact that he had the king executed. Who does that to a king? And as mentioned earlier, Oliver is now Lord Protector, so pretty much the new ruler of Scotland, Ireland, and England. England became a commonwealth, which meant that it was governed by representatives of its people. So yay for the people, right? Sounds so much better than the 11 Years' Tyranny that England had to deal with when King Charles was alive. But the future was starting to look bright. Here's where you would accept him as hero of the people. Yeah, that hopeful dream didn't last very long. What Mr. Victorious decides to do next as Lord Protector is show up in Ireland with a military force. Then he slaughters thousands of Irish royalist soldiers and civilians. The memory of this atrocity has contributed to the Irish resentment of the English in general and Protestants in particular for centuries. Another thing that really shocked me that Oliver did as Lord Protector was that he canceled Christmas. I mean, I don't care who you are, but if you cancel Christmas, you are automatically evil in my eyes. Yes, I know, you may be thinking that it's irrational for me to base my whole opinion of him being evil on the fact that he canceled Christmas, even though it mostly is. Also the fact that he killed out thousands of people and set a bunch of rules that made living in England really depressing. But there's actually a diary of an eyewitness that was there during the time of King Cromwell. His name was Reverend James Fraser. In his diary entries, he wrote what he thought about the Lord Protector, Oliver Cromwell. And right from the start of Fraser even entering into London, he's already upset because they don't respect his religious beliefs nor his Scottish pride. And he wrote this: "Those ensigns and standards are all hanging here, yet on both sides of the hall from one end to the other, set up 6 years ago. It truly galled my spirit and dashed my very soul to behold them inciting infamy lies upon our nation, in selling King Charles I and betraying King Charles II at Worcester. For if treachery had not been near, that battle could not go as it went. Fraser does not sugarcoat the way he felt about Oliver, as many others felt the same, because he also wrote this. But his climbing too high may prove his vain in aiming at the greatest pitch of honor his own and family's break and ruin. I don't know about you, but that does not sound very positive. During the times that he was Lord Protector, Oliver was offered the crown, but he always refused, since it was against his religious beliefs to have such a powerful title. It's ironic though, because even without the crown or title as king, he had just as much power over the places he ruled that a king would have. Oliver Cromwell passed away in 1653, along with his much beloved Commonwealth, because in 1660 the English monarchy was reinstated. Why did this even happen? All because King Charles believed that he had the right to rule without Parliament. He thought he could call or dissolve Parliament as he required, which this stage was set for conflict right off the bat. Who was impacted? The people that were impacted by Oliver Cromwell's rule were the English, the people of Ireland, and even the people that didn't have the same religious beliefs as him. Do we still remember this to this day? I believe we do, because it was the first time that there was a ruler that was not from the royal bloodline, and the fact that he had the king executed. I mean, who could forget something like that? I believe this is important because it teaches a lesson as to not abuse your power that you were given with trust. People should definitely pay more attention to this moment in history, because even if the ruler that you have is not the best, it shouldn't mean that someone can go against the king and have him killed for not doing things your way. For example, Simba is the king to all animals, and Zazu is his advisor. It wouldn't be right if Zazu has him killed for not doing things exactly the way he wanted and then became king himself. Otherwise, it wouldn't be called the Lion King. It'd be called the Red-Billed Hornbill King. And honestly, that does not sound like a movie I would want to watch. And with that last statement, I end my presentation.